I remade the entire game Minecraft on my own using Claude Code. I even added new features like biomes that never existed, animals and monsters you have never seen, and even boss fights. Since I first started playing Minecraft at 14, it has always been my dream to remake Minecraft or a game similar to it. I even bought books on programming back then when I was a teenager. But I always dropped the project because it seemed impossible and as if it would take years to make it. But now, with Claude Code, I felt for the first time as if it was possible to actually get it done. And in the beginning, I was completely wrong about how this would go. So in this video, we will explore the question: can Claude Code actually remake Minecraft and even build on top of it? I started with the smallest possible step. Before anything else, I just wanted one window to open and one block to render inside of it. In plan mode, I told Claude Code what we were doing and let it ask me everything it needed to know. We made the plan together, I approved it, and it set the whole thing up on its own, even installing the necessary libraries. But a plan is easy. The real question is, can it actually render a single correct block? The window opened and it already looked like Minecraft. So I asked for a dirt block. It rendered one, but the colors looked completely wrong. So I essentially kept asking, and it then created a dirt texture itself, and I finally had one real dirt block rotating in front of me. But when it comes to Minecraft, one block is literally nothing. The thing that makes Minecraft Minecraft is that there is literally an endless world. So that is what we have to get next. And the moment I asked for more than one block, the problem started. I didn't jump straight to an endless world. I tried to do it step by step. So first I created one block, then I wanted to create a chunk of blocks, and only then I wanted to create the endless world. And the last step was the reason why I quit this project so many times, because creating an endless world always seemed impossible to me, and like the hardest part in general. But first, let's see whether a chunk of blocks even works. And at first, it came out broken. The first chunk was flickering and pretty buggy. So I sent a screenshot of the bug, Claude fixed it, and afterwards, the chunk looked pretty much alright. Then the part I was worried about, an infinite world. So a world that generates blocks when you spawn, and generates more and more of them as you move. And to my surprise, this actually worked on the first try. Looking back, I can tell you that the one thing I had built this whole project up around as impossible was one of the easy things to do of the entire build, which at this point probably made me a little bit too confident. I added a player, which in the beginning was just a black box with a camera. And making him do one simple thing was actually what showed me that this would get a little bit more difficult than expected. Up to this point, the player was just a black box with a camera attached to it. But I wanted a real character, something that looks and moves like Steve, with a first and third person view when pressing F5. But Claude Code can't just steal the original skin from Steve. So how would it solve this problem? Instead of grabbing the texture somewhere, it essentially wrote its own skin generator, which is essentially just a program that builds a skin that looks pretty much like Steve. It took a while, but in the end, we definitely had something that looked like Steve. Or at least somewhat similar, I would say. Then I asked for movement, so a running animation, a jump, and a sprint when you tap twice. It took some back and forth, and the jump still looks a little bit off, but I would say he runs, sprints, and moves pretty similar to real Minecraft. So the world was alive and the character moved. I thought placing and breaking blocks would probably be just as easy, but it definitely wasn't. Breaking blocks is the heart of Minecraft. Every block breaks at a different speed. Dirt breaks pretty fast, stone takes a little bit longer. And I had Claude match those times to the real game. So could Claude get the blocks visibly breaking as you hit? The first version had one crack stage and then the block popped. I told Claude it needed the in-between stages and that one node turned into round after a round of fixes. So this really took pretty long. This small detail, where I probably expected to spend a couple of minutes, actually took a lot more time than anything else up to this point, and even more than the infinite world generation, which was actually pretty easy compared to that. It probably took around 10 to 20 attempts to get a crack that looked somewhat like Minecraft. And that became the pattern for the entire project. The big systems came easily. The small details were the ones that were really difficult. And the clearest example was about the player's arm. Minecraft usually shows your arm if you're not holding a tool, or otherwise the item you are currently holding. When you punch, there also exists an animation for both your arm or the selected tool. And I wanted to add the exact same animations. But how hard could drawing an arm on a screen be compared to generating an entire world? In fact, it turned out to be much harder than generating the entire world. The arm came out far too big and facing the wrong way. The block in the hand was way too big as well. The swing, so the punch moved backwards instead of forward. And it probably took me around an hour to get this look somewhat alright. It's probably still not perfect, but close enough that I let it go. By now, I could break blocks and even hold a tool in my hand. But everything I picked up still had nowhere to go, and I had no way to turn any of that into something new. So it was definitely time for the crafting system. Up to this point, I could break blocks and place them, but everything I picked up essentially turned into nothing. There was no inventory to just keep what I collected. And crafting is a huge part of Minecraft. The inventory, the crafting table, the furnace, the recipes, all of it. So I asked Claude to rebuild all of those things. Minecraft has a recipe for almost everything. So can Claude really get all of them in and follow the rules behind them? The recipes themselves came in surprisingly fast. So planks, sticks, tools, the crafting table, the furnace, almost all of the real ones were there. But I would say the logic behind them was still pretty off. I could, for example, mine iron with a wooden pickaxe, even with the hand in the beginning. Mining iron ore gave me finished iron right away instead of raw ore that I first have to melt down in a furnace. And no matter which tool I used, every block still dropped its item. So the recipes existed, but the actual Minecraft rules behind them didn't. So I went through every single one of them. Now you at least need a stone pickaxe for iron and an iron one for diamond. Ore drops raw material that you melt in the furnace, and only the right tool actually gives you the block. The inventory ended up looking just like Minecraft 2, with the crafting grid, armor slots, and a little 3D preview of every single item. After that, it finally played like real Minecraft. So working your way up from wood over stones to iron and diamonds. With breaking, placing, and crafting all in place, I finally worked on the world itself. So we added day and night, a sun, a moon, stars and clouds, which all worked pretty fast to be honest. Then it was time for the biggest upgrade. So biomes with all the animals and mobs you know from Minecraft. And Claude also gave me something I never asked for. I prompted Claude to add almost every important block at the right depth, with bedrock at the bottom so I can't break through it. Then animals and monsters with the right spawning routes and the right drops. And then also biomes. I started specifically with the desert, oceans, forests, plains and winter biomes, with snow and rain that comes and goes depending on your biome. A human would probably need days or weeks to years to implement all of that logic. And I would probably never be able to do it. But how long did Claude Code need? And was it even able to do it? The biomes somehow worked right away. Of course, they were not perfect immediately, but actually a lot better than expected. I didn't ask for it, but Claude somehow already added a small survival system including hearts, damage, dying and respawning. I especially used the respawn pretty often from that point on. So I essentially went in to add biomes and went out with biomes and the beginning of a survival mode. Up to this point, I probably spent around half of the time fixing things that Claude got wrong, and the other half of the time it actually gave me things that I probably never asked for. But something was still missing, and it was the most important thing of all. I had biomes, weather and even survival, but still not a single living creature inside of the entire world. By now I had a beautiful world, but it was still completely empty. No cows, no pigs, no chickens, and not a single monster at night. A Minecraft world with no zombies, creepers and pigs isn't really Minecraft. So I asked for all of it in one go. I wanted Claude to implement all of the important monsters and animals that you know from Minecraft, and I wanted them to drop the right items when you beat them. But could Claude actually fill the world with monsters that behave like the monsters in Minecraft? Or would they just be models standing around and pretty much doing nothing? Because adding monsters is usually really difficult when you create your games. At first, standing around and doing nothing is exactly what they did. The animals showed up and the monsters showed up, but creepers, for example, walked straight into me without exploding, while skeletons, for example, just stood there without a bow. And they didn't shoot arrows as well. They also didn't have eyes for some reason, and for some of them, I couldn't even tell whether it was a monster or an animal. So I had to go through all of them step by step and ask for all of the necessary adjustments. It took a while to ask for all of the right adjustments, but creepers ended up blowing a crater into the ground, skeletons pull out a bow and actually shoot arrows at you, and they now at least have eyes as well. And suddenly the world was dangerous. We now have cows, pigs and sheep wandering the hills during the day, and the moment the sun went down, creepers, skeletons, zombies and spiders came out of the dark to hunt me down. So the world finally felt alive. And to be fair, it was actually even harder than real Minecraft, because Claude Code somehow implemented crazy high spawn rates for all of those monsters, so they attacked me essentially all of the time during night. With animals and monsters as well as water and lava set up, I now realized that I ignored a lot of bugs and small problems that Claude implemented up to this point. So I thought that it was time to get rid of all of them And one of them almost stopped the entire project. Throughout the previous steps, more and more bugs started to show. Water wasn't even transparent, every block had a weird outline around it, dropped items often looked like tiny black cubes, and a bunch of crafting recipes were still missing. Therefore, we cleaned all of that up. Then I asked for the one thing that sounds pretty simple, but definitely isn't: making water and lava actually flow. Real Minecraft water spreads up to 8 blocks, resets when it falls, and fills the gap when you break a block beside it. So fixing that should usually be done in a prompt, right? But fixing that bug was probably one of the most time-consuming things during this entire project. The water didn't flow, made the game lag, and was somehow just floating around randomly. Lava was even worse. Tiny lava lakes spawned randomly everywhere. While they should be big and rare, they were also just floating around and didn't behave properly in general. Getting this fixed really took a long time. I kept working on it until it finally moved the way it should. Getting through water gave me the confidence to go underground. So I decided to add caves and canyons next. And that's where I found out that the game misunderstood light the whole time. Until now, my whole world was just its surface. So it was time to add the part of Minecraft where it actually gets scary. And the part that we probably all like. So I asked Claude to add canyons and caves into the ground. The canyons ended up being gigantic, and the caves looked pretty good for a first attempt as well. So why was nothing spawning there when caves are supposed to be the most dangerous part in Minecraft? And the reason for that was that the game decided whether a spot was dark only from the time of day, not from where the light could actually reach. So monsters only spawned at nighttime. Caves were also completely bright during daytime. And the whole lightning model was built on the wrong idea, and we therefore had to rebuild it around real geometry. So Claude had to add light that fails to reach underground. Blocks should cast shadows, and spawning should only depend on the light level. After that, caves went properly dark, mobs started appearing in them, actually so many of them that I couldn't even go down there anymore, and the surface even shifted color at sunset. At this point, I stopped just rebuilding Minecraft. If the engine was that capable, the real question was, could I add something that Minecraft never had? So I decided that I want to add biomes that Minecraft never had. I gave Claude Code a list of biomes that I would have loved as a kid. I wanted it to add the hanging gardens, an Egyptian desert with real pyramids and a pharaoh protecting them, a Japanese cherry blossom garden, an African savanna with lions, elephants and giraffes, and a dinosaur jungle with a T-Rex, Triceratops and Brontosaurus. So could Claude Code invent whole biomes with creatures that don't exist in real Minecraft and follow all of the rules that we set up to this point? So including crafting, drops and so on. Claude was actually working for this for almost an hour. But I have to say that the result was really impressive. It added dinosaurs in a prehistoric jungle, a pharaoh waiting on his pyramid, animals I'd never even see in the real game, and much more. And to me, especially the Japanese garden with pandas and cherry blossom looked amazing. As a result, the game got new trees, new mobs, and a new world, all fitting into the system we built up to this point. And once I could add new creatures, there was only one last thing to try. Something that the real game doesn't have, but something that would be really cool in my opinion. A real boss monster. So I wanted to have a giant monster surrounded by an army of around 20 smaller ones it keeps spawning, all of them glowing, all of them faster and all of them stronger, all coming for you at any time, so even during daytime. But could a boss like this actually feel dangerous, or would it just end up being a bigger creeper, for example? I ended up with a creeper king, a skeleton king and a spider king. So bosses that spawn a permanent swarm around themselves and hit incredibly hard. The creeper king and his exploding army got so strong that I literally just ran every time I saw one. So what is the result? A game I started by asking for a single dirt block now had boss fights the real game never shipped, biomes the real game never had, and animals no one in Minecraft has ever seen. So I stood in my own world and went back to the question I started with. Could a single person rebuild Minecraft from scratch by only prompting Claude Code, and even build something on top of it that the real game never had? And for me, the answer is definitely yes. We have an infinite world, caves, day and night, mobs, hunger, crafting, armor and flowing water, and then the pyramids, dinosaurs, cherry gardens and a creeper king with an army. I'll be honest about what was hard, because the surprising part to me isn't really where we ended. It's the things that were difficult and the things that were easy to make. The infinite world generation, for example, that seemed impossible to me, was actually pretty easy in the end. The difficult things were always the small details, and especially the bug fixes. I always thought making a game like Minecraft would take months or years. But this time, It only took me around 48 hours of prompting to generate all that you saw in this video. And now I finally have the game I always wanted. But guys, I'm also not stopping at a clone. This game is gonna be the base, and in my next video I will build a completely new game on top of it. So if you want to see that, feel free to subscribe or do whatever you like, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video and have a nice day, guys.